Now that our form is created, we want to share it with our students so they can take the form. So we want to administer it. So there's multiple ways to do this. I'm going to show you how to use Google Classroom. First thing you need to do is hit send. That's going to bring you to this box. To share it in Google Classroom, click on the link icon. It looks like a chain. So then if you select copy, I can then copy that, and I'm going to go to my Google Classroom. I'm going to go over here to the plus button, and I'm going to click on the create announcement. So I'm going to write in this message box the name of the quiz. So then to attach the link, I would then click on the link icon, and I'll simply paste the link in there and click add link. Now to share this with my students, I'm going to simply select post. Selecting post creates this post, and now my students can click on here to take this quiz. If you don't have Google Classroom and you would like to share this with your students, there are other ways to do this as well. If you use social media, you can share it through social media. You could also click this shorten URL button here. And what it does is it gives you a more manageable link where you could then write that link on the smartboard or on your chalkboard, and students could simply type that in and it would take them directly to that link. When you are sending a link, I never check this box, include form in email. Again, I do not check that box because of test security. If that box is checked, when students open up their email, they will see the form in there. They could then forward that to others who have yet to take the test or quiz. Google Forms quizzes provide you with lots of information and lots of data about how they did on that quiz. This is a very useful tool for teachers that want to use this assessment as a way to figure out what they need to reteach to their students. So to find out how your students did, click on responses. So you'll probably be in the questions tab, click to responses. Now this gives me quite a bit of information right from the start. I'm in the summary view, so it first tells me the average out of 5 points, the median score, and the range of scores. Now, if I want to look at the total points distribution, if I hover over one of the bars, it tells me how many students scored 5 points on this assessment. Same thing with 4, 3, 2, 1 point, and then 0 points. So if I were to continue to scroll down, I can see how they did on all of the questions as a group. I intentionally scrolled past their names, but I asked them identifying questions of their first and last names and their email addresses. For their security, I'm going to skip over them. But see, there's a pie chart here. This shows me the breakdown of what class period they're in. I give quiz codes as well, a little bit for test security. That's going to be explained in Google Forms Quizzes Part 2. It's just a little more advanced, and I didn't want to include that in this video. So then it goes question by question, and you can see what the correct answer is in the bar graph. It tells you what percentage of students got it correct, and then which percentage of students answered the other possible choices. This gives you a clear indication of whether or not students understood that question. And if they missed it and many of the students marked the same answer, that's going to give you good information when you go back to reteach that. So that's going to do that for each question that's a multiple choice question. So you can see I'm scrolling through here and I can see how well students answered or understood each question. Along with looking at the responses as a summary, I can also do this by selecting question. So I've skipped ahead to question number 5, and what this does is it just shows me what the question is and then how many students answered it each way. So to figure out different questions, click on the arrow here to go to next questions. The next tab is individual. If I click on individual, this is going to let me see each individual's quiz. So again, I scrolled down a little bit to protect the students' names and identifying information. But see, this is a specific individual student's quiz here. So I could scroll down to see how they answered on each one. Now if I go all the way up to the top, I will then be able to see who it is and click over to the next student. The next feature I want to show you in the responses is to look at your students' responses in Google Sheets. When I click on that, it's going to open up a spreadsheet. Now, the first time you click on that, you are going to have to create a spreadsheet. To do that, it will prompt you. There'll be a create button. Simply click create. Now notice it has all of this different information. It timestamps the quiz. It collected their email address because that was one of my questions. It scored the quiz automatically, and then we see first name and last name, class period, and then over here are each student's individual answers. So it's just another way to look at how your students answered questions. This will be particularly helpful when transferring grades to your gradebook. The last item I want to show you here under responses is this accepting responses. When I have this open, that means students can access the Google form and answer questions. If I click right here, it turns the Google form off and students can no longer answer questions. One of the more challenging aspects of digital assessments that I have found is giving students feedback on digital assessments they take. Google Forms quizzes makes this easier for you. To return quizzes, their grade, how they did on each individual question, you're going to click on the Release Scores button. So click that down here at the bottom. Once you click the Release Scores button, this message is going to appear. What you can do is you can type in a message here if you would like. So I typed in this message that I want my students to see. So then all I would do is click Send Emails and Release. When students go to their inbox, this is what they will see. They'll get an email with their score. For them to see how they did on each individual question, they need to select View. This is what they will see. They'll see the actual quiz that they took. It has the question. Then it has what they answered. In this case, they answered Webster-Ashburton Treaty, when in fact the correct answer was Gadsden Purchase. So it tells them they missed this question and it gives them the correct answer. We see the second question there. They got it correct. So it shows what they answered and then it gives them the check mark. I hope this tutorial was helpful to you. Be looking for Google Forms Quizzes Part 2 coming soon.